Hi, welcome to Portage County Matters, a show that helps you get informed about some of the great things going on in Portage County today. I'm Patty Dreier, Portage County Executive, and I'm really glad to be here today. My guest today is Gary Speckmann, Director of Portage County Parks. But before we get to Gary and that lovely story about parks in our community, I'd like to share with you some of the news about some of the important things happening in our county. First of all, a really big one, our Solid Waste Board is exploring the possible sale of the Material Recovery Facility. That's the MRF for short. And it's in Plover, as most of you know. It's a place that we send our recyclables after they're picked up at our curb. Veolia is the firm that runs the recycling plant inside the MRF, and it's expressed interest in purchasing the facility. They've put about $1 million of improvements into the facility, and so they want to take the next step. Well, that's a great question to ask. Hey, would we be interested in selling the MRF? It's the only one in central Wisconsin, and this is a really big decision. There are 20 municipalities in Portage County that are part of our consortium, that is the partnership group that brings recyclables there together. And each year, we collectively have about 4,000 tons of recyclables that are brought to the MRF. That means that as we explore the idea of whether or not to sell the MRF, we need to have the conversation with the towns and the villages and the city who are all part of that consortium. And that's exactly what we've just done recently. On July 27th, we had taken our first step. We called all the towns together, and we had a great conversation about whether or not we should go forward in talking with Veolia about potential sale. And in fact, the decision was of the group that indeed we should continue talking and then bring back additional information for their consideration. I want to highlight a couple of the different questions that are before us as we consider a sale. First of all, it's important to know that when we bring 4,000 tons of recyclables to this facility, it's not the only recyclables that come there. That Veolia goes out and recruits about 10,000 tons of their own, and their recyclables come from places like Wausau and Marshfield and Madison and Minocqua. And so they add those recyclables to ours, and then when we put this whole volume together, we all get a better deal. And this goes out to national and global markets, not just markets here in central Wisconsin. We have a contract with Veolia through 2019, but as we look forward to making decisions, we have financial considerations. For example, right now our operation is about a break-even operation. And remember, Veolia operates the recycling center operation itself, but we just own the building. So we have to decide what's the importance of the building in our future. What difference will it make to keep the building in 2020 compared to selling it? So the other things to think about include facts that, you know, we're going to have to make some capital improvements there at the MRF. We're going to have to put on a new roof. We're going to have to replace some asphalt. We have HVAC systems that have to be upgraded. And it's a 20-year building. And we have over $500,000 in debt to still pay off related to the MRF, which was built in 1992. So lots of decisions to make. And I hope that you will join us in helping to get closer to a solution on this. I will let you know more next month as we continue to move down the path toward possible sale and the right answer for our future here in Portage County. Another update I wanted to provide you with was related to the McDill Dam and County HH closure. The County HH continues to be closed over the dam in Whiting, and at last, though, I'm happy to report there is some movement on resolving the issue. Step one, after an exchange of letters between the village and the city, and after a joint meeting of our finance and highway committees, the next step is in play, and that means that there is a county group that's going to be meeting with the village, and they'll be negotiating the amount of county funding that will be contributed to the cost of the $25,000 engineering study that needs to be completed in order to determine what's wrong, so then we can figure out how to fix it and what it's going to cost to fix it and who's going to help to foot that bill. So anyway, this is moving along. I'm happy to say that it is. I wish it was moving a little faster, just like you do. But the bottom line is there are going to be some formal memorandums of understanding written up to make sure that nobody misunderstands the relationship between the road and the dam as we move ahead. I'm happy to say too that at the beginning, you know, it was that the village was not owning up to being the owner and being the responsible party for helping to move this along, and the county couldn't come in and just take on an engineering study when we don't solely own that structure. So now the village is accepting their obligation to being owner of the dam, and now the county can move forward, and together I think we're going to come up with some great solutions. So stand by for more on that. And the last bit of news I want to offer you before we get to our guest today is about the State of the County Address. I delivered the State of the County Address to the County Board on July 19th, and that was the same night as the big storm, the power outage, the high winds that brought down hundreds of trees in our community. And so really, truly, in the news the next day, the storm needed to be the front page story and not the county address. But I want you to know that a copy of the entire State of the County Address appears on the county's website, on the home page, and on the last page in that document that you can open on the web there is a diagram that I used as part of the visual presentation that night. So I really urge you to get out there to take a look at what the report was all about and to provide me with some comments about it. I would love that. I want to highlight a few of the pieces related to that speech right here, right now, in case you can't get to the website or you don't have time to go and read the words that were spoken that night. And here's how it started out. It's been 15 months since I was sworn into office as your county executive, and to say that it's been a whirlwind is an understatement. Perhaps more than any of us could have imagined only a few short months ago, we stand in a very different place today as a community and as an arm of state government. No matter which side of any political continuum you stand on, I think we can all agree that these times demand us to evaluate our current course and consider refined or alternate pathways toward accomplishing our mission in service to the people of this county. That means you. And we have everything going for us here in Portage County if we work together. Then I laid out what the goals were of the presentation, and I had two goals. Number one, to recognize a few of our accomplishments for the last 15 months have been 15 months of many firsts for Portage County, measured by, if it didn't happen in the last decade, it would be a first. And then also to share a vision for Portage County government, a model for consideration as we move ahead on the strategic planning efforts we launched earlier this year. And so I just want to highlight a couple of the firsts and then just a tad about the closing, and we'll get on to our guest. So one of the main firsts that I highlighted was that in 2011 tax year we kept the county levy flat. This is the first time since 1989 that a larger county tax levy burden was not created for the people of Portage County. And the second first, which is a really important one to highlight, is that our total county budget amount was smaller this year by 5% or so than the previous year under the other county executive, and that this is a reduction of $1.5 million. And for the first time in a decade, the proposed county budget did not grow larger than the year before it. In fact, over the last 20 years, there are only a couple of exceptions to this pattern of growing a larger budget year by year by year. And I did reference in my speech a recent letter to the editor when a former county board member mentioned that he thought it was a needless expenditure for this county executive position and office, which costs about $250,000 a year, including my salary and benefits, the salary and benefits of my executive assistant, Jamie Gabert, and then our other costs like copies and travel, state travel. And in my first county budget alone, I stopped the runaway trend of growing a bigger budget every year and saved 6 times the amount of my office's expenses in that same 15-month time period. And so I think these two firsts are significant. I would let you take a look at reading the other firsts on that speech that you can find on the website. The other part that I wanted to share with you is a part related to looking forward to the future. And so here it is. Building on our 15 months of firsts in budget control, planning, policy, communications, and emergency response, I would like to propose that you consider a different concept for county government that I believe will advance us further. An effective and efficient county government, to me, is one that is as nimble as possible in responding to changing needs and dynamic times in which we live. It's a county organization that looks out for the good of the whole, that's guided by the voices of many people, not one or two or a few, and that's responsive and appropriately strong and smart, where there's a balance of power and a measure of earned trust, and that the county's priorities as a whole are number one, not the priorities of individuals with their own agendas. That seems to sometimes be the case here in Portage County. It's a respectful workplace where there are high expectations for staff and workers, but where they are also lifted up to meet the challenges. It's accountable and transparent and effective and makes you, the citizens of Portage County, proud to call Portage County home. So then I go on to go ahead and present that we have a pretty complicated government. We have 30 different departments or quasi-departments. Most of them have separate budgets and directors and elected leaders in charge. I have 17 different reports to my office, and I coordinate with another 11 county elected officials and another 29 county board members, soon to be 25. And there are over 40 different oversight committees and commissions and boards and advisory groups. Each has their own administrative burden to bear. And so what I presented in the speech was that we look at a different way, that we look at a more collaborative design, that we focus our monies more on the mission to be accomplished and not the administration of the mission to be accomplished, and that we begin this by having great conversations beginning in January 2012. So I hope you will be part of those discussions. You'll share your thoughts, that you will get on the website, the county website, read the speech, and then give me some calls, and let's talk it over, and let's start the ball rolling to an even leaner but more effective county government in service to our mission and you. So with that said, that's my report at the beginning of Portage County Matters, and let's get to our guest who's been waiting patiently, who is one of those folks that's a director of a department, a really important department, the Parks Department. Gary Speckmann, welcome.
How are you?
All right, thank you. So tell me, how long have you been an administrative fixture? I'm just kidding. A director of Portage County Parks Department.
As of the middle of July, 19 years.
19 years, wow.
Here.
Well, anyway, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yep.
And I know, I've heard many, many people say it, many citizens, as well as elected officials. In fact, at the last county board meeting, when county board members were sharing their strategic budget priorities, one of the county board members, Mike Wiese, had mentioned that he believes, like I do, that we have some of the premier county parks in the state of Wisconsin. So what do you say to that?
Of course.
Yeah.
We always have. It's the foresight, you know, is you look at Lake Emily, that was made a county park back in 1900. So I mean, there's the foresight, not just, you know, the last few decades, but, you know, over 100 years ago. It's just the way Portage County, Stevens Point area has always been. We do have, you know, high quality areas, diverse areas, and we do attract a lot of people, you know, from all over the state that come and use our areas.
And I think one of the reasons that I love to call Portage County home is for that very reason, that whole sense of values related to the earth and the vision of the people who want to think about what's best for the next generation, just exactly as they were talking about it with the solid waste decisions before us that I had mentioned in the news update.
Yeah, you know, I've lived in a lot of different areas and worked in a lot of different areas, but that's one reason, the main reason we wanted to come back, you know, to the Stevens Point area was just kind of, you know, the mindset, you know, the local people and that type of thing. So
you mentioned that we attract a lot of different people at our parks. Just give me an idea about how many parks visitors. I don't even know how you count, but what would you estimate to be the parks visitation number?
That is really difficult because we do take care of the Green Circle too. So, you know, the last estimates we did on the Green Circle was over 125,000 people used the Green Circle just from Memorial Day to Labor Day. That was the last time we did a survey, and that's several years ago, and that usage has grown. camping, all those types of things that we do, boating, fishing, the beach areas. We don't have head counts for, those types of things. The campers.
Hundreds and hundreds of thousands, easily.
It's unbelievable if you had to try to figure it out. And the trail users, whether it be snowmobiles or the Tomorrow River Trail or the cross-country skiers, hikers, all those types of things. We don't have people out there counting people. So, I mean, it'd be great if we did. Maybe you'll give us some money to hire someone to do that.
Good luck with that about now.
But it would be, we would surprise people if we told them, how many people are using our areas, that type of thing.
So, okay, how many parks? How many parks? So,
26 actual, what we call parks. Some are as small as a quarter acre, just a boat landing here and there, as large as Standing Rocks, which is over 550 acres. Along with the 26 parks, then we take care of 2 of the state trails in the county too.
Okay, so let's name the trails. So,
Green Circle and the Tomorrow River Trail are the 2 state trails. We're involved in, do a little with the Ice Age Trail, try to...
one of my favorite causes.
Yeah, and snowmobile trails, all those types of things. So, I mean, we're involved in just more than just what our county parks. We attend other meetings and work with other groups and associations trying to do, improvements in the local areas, whether it be lakes, or just environmental causes, those types of things. So, I mean, we're try to be involved in as many things as we can that we have time for, put it that way.
Maybe just before we get to talk a little bit about, how you staff the parks, how important volunteers are, and about the Standing Rocks initiatives. I just have your annual report here for 2010, and it had a mission statement that is just so, I think, beautifully written, and I'd like to just read it if I could, unless you remember it by heart.
Go ahead and read it.
Because it's about 4 lines full. I just had to do that to you. Okay. The mission of the Parks Commission is to enhance and maintain the quality of life for Portage County citizens by providing a variety of passive and active recreational opportunities such as biking, birding, fishing, skiing, viewing, swimming, etc. in natural settings through county park facilities and programs. Wow. Wow. Yeah,
well, everyone's got, their thing that they like to do, whether it be developed recreation or, more of the non-passive, the birding or those types of things. So, like I said, we try to have as diverse, opportunities as possible. A lot of people request, this and that, and we try to make those types of things work, so.
Now, let's talk about your staff, and let's talk about, you have a seasonal cadence, maybe just a little bit about the operation behind the scenes.
Well, there are 10 full-time employees in our department, including me. Then seasonal employees are the important part for the summer, because the seasonal employees are running the 4 campgrounds and Standing Rocks. The full-time staff is there to help out when they need help, but the daily operation are all the seasonal employees that are running that. They're making most of the visitor contacts, doing the daily maintenance operation, those types of things. So like at this time of year, we've got 18 seasonals that are working spring until early fall. Then in the winter, if we have snow at Standing Rocks, we open the Standing Rocks winter operation, and then we hire 7 more seasonals to work out there along with the full-time staff.
Wow. And when you look at the role that volunteers play, why don't you describe that a little bit? I think some of the listeners may be interested and probably surprised about the value of volunteers in helping our parks be all they can be.
Well, unfortunately, we don't have the manpower, time, money, whatever, to do everything that people want. So, the newer requests that have been coming in now, when people want a new facility or activity, that type of thing, we've been asking, for volunteers to help with the cause. The perfect examples are the disc golf course at Standing Rocks, which has been open over 10 years probably now, and then what we call single track mountain bike trails at Standing Rocks are like deer paths that go through the woods that the bikers ride. They have those volunteer groups for those organizations basically have come in, built those courses.
Wow, just great
I mean, we still go in and do a lot of the manual type of work, the tree cutting and the boulder moving, stump removal, that type of thing. But they have done a lot of that, and they do almost all the maintenance, the regular maintenance on those trails too. Without that, we wouldn't have those types of opportunities. So it's just when the new things are coming up, we're telling people, you know, you need to get organized and, you know, try to develop a group that can, you know, help with the cause here, you know, whether it's coming up with money or the manpower to do some of the work.
So tell us about that really exciting new project out at Standing Rocks.
Well, there's two of them, so you're leading me down the wrong path here, so I don't know which one you're going to ask for.
How about the running one?
The cross-country course, I figured maybe that's what you were going after. Actually, as of last Monday, the dirt has been hauled out for the cross-country running course that has been approved by the Park Commission. Basically, SPASH is leading the cause on that one. They're looking for a course to have their regular yearly invite, and then maybe some of the district competition in that, you know, in the fall for the cross-country team. So they were looking for a place to run. We've agreed to allow a course to be built at Standing Rocks.
Where at Standing Rocks, for those that know the park?
It'll be on the south side of Standing Rocks Road, and it's there's a little parking lot next to the dog exercise area to the east there. That's where the course will go, and then it'll go south out towards County Road D. There's another one of the new activities that's been requested, and we've asked for volunteers, you know, to help with that. So SPASH, along with most of the schools in the county that have cross-country teams, have participated in public meetings, helped design the course, that type of thing. And they have gotten American Asphalt to donate the fill for the area to level things off.
Wonderful.
Stuchinski Trucking has donated hauling the fill out there, and I believe Jamar is donating the seed that's going to be used to seed the course down. The SPASH people are the ones that are doing a lot of the manual work out there, that type of thing. We're doing, we'll do the seeding for them and that.
Tell me how many miles is the trail?
It'll be, you know,
or
from a cross-country standpoint, yeah, that's what they do kilometers, and then I don't. It's about 3 miles of trail. A lot of the trail that's out there will be existing trail that we already had there. There's about a mile of new trail, and we're probably going to reconfigure our trail system out there just to incorporate this, so we don't have to basically maintain an additional mile. We'll have a little additional course that will maintain that type of thing. But they have their first event out there. I believe it's going to be the SPASH invite, I think is September 10th.
I thought it was.
So we're getting real close to, we need to get everything done to have that ready to go.
Now, one of the things that I remember after attending a number of different public meetings when this project just kicked off, I just thought it was a great idea from the beginning that we could continue to partner with other community organizations, with volunteer groups, with the schools to create a facility that just didn't exist anywhere in our county. And actually, what I was most impressed with is the fact that the people who really know the cross-country running market, I guess, say that this could be a premier trail, absolutely premier, and that would have great potential for attracting other meets, statewide meets, and so on and so forth from you know, stealing them away from other places because of how awesome this facility could be, and that would be extra tourism dollars for our community out of it too, I think.
Right. I mean, some of the local schools here have really, you know, excellent, you know, cross-country teams, that type of thing. So I mean, it's important for the locals. But yeah, you look at if they can draw in, you know, some more meets and that. And actually, the SPASH invite, they're talking of having up to 1,000 runners, you know, in that along, you know, with the parents that are going to come watch and all that type of thing. If they have, you know, other special events in that type of thing, or other schools have special events that haven't been occurring here in the past, that's just adding, you know, more potential tourists to the county. We don't track that really well except through our campground surveys, and I do those about every 3 years in the campgrounds. I'll do random surveys with the users there, and just with our campers that are in the parks, they will spend $750,000 on their camping trips per year, you know, and we're not including all the other users that come into the area, whether it be for like the disc golf tournaments or cross-country ski and all those types of things where people come in for the weekend, you know, rent hotels and go out out to eat and all those different types of things. So
when we talk about your budget, Gary, what
I always say our budget is paid for by the dollars of local tourism that we're bringing in, that are doing businesses with our local community and that type of thing. So I mean, that's the simplistic way of looking at it. Unfortunately, the people with the dollars don't look at it that way, but we do bring in a lot of people into the community and that type of thing. And then also one of the other important things is when businesses are relocating and that people are looking at the recreational opportunities or the green space values, quality of life, all those types of things. So we know we help out in that cause too.
One of the things I'm really excited about with Cross Country Trail too is the wellness component. I mean, we have so much going for us to really build on our wellness theme, I guess, with the National Wellness Institute being here, and so much at UW-Stevens Point that's related to national leadership in health and wellness. So why not? I think this would be just awesome if we could continue to build on that here in Portage County. When we take a look at other projects around the community besides, or around the county parks, what else is going on? And maybe you can touch on some of the environmental highlights. We've got about maybe 4 minutes or so left.
Tough. Well, the other one I was going to talk about was the Standing Rocks. We're looking to do more improvements there for the winter recreation area. So the Park Commission has a subcommittee that's going to start meeting out there and trying to come up with a long-range plan on what we're going to do out there. As one of the park commissioners said, Standing Rock's been open for 45 years. We haven't done anything different there in 45 years, so we need to do more to increase our business there. So that's one of the issues we've got going on. Environmentally, we did a couple neat things this year with the environment, and it's with bugs. We have spotted knapweed that grows in the county, and I know you know what that is, but for the others that don't, it's that purple flower that you see growing all over in the fields and the road ditches and all that. It is an invasive plant. We did apply last fall to the DNR to get some beetles that will actually eat the plant. Those got delivered last week, so we did drop them off at Standing Rocks.
And you're going to kind of test it out?
Just dumped them out, but yeah, and we did notice that when we dumped them, there appears that those beetles are already there. They do move up to 20 miles in that, so they've moved from somewhere else
some at my house.
into that area. Yeah, so that's the test area we're using right now at Standing Rocks in one of the fields, because we've got a lot of knapweed there. And the other one is for the garlic mustard, another invasive plant we've been dealing with for a number of years now at Standing Rocks mainly, but we do have it in a few other parks. The DNR is bringing in some weevils that will hopefully control that too. It's kind of a new process. They're still evaluating it. They were going to give us some just to basically dump at Standing Rocks again until they came out and actually looked at the site, and they were so impressed with the garlic mustard we have there. Now we're going to be one of their test plots.
Oh,
so.
Great. Great. We love to be a test plot for invasives.
So we're trying to stop the spread of the invasives, like a lot of the lake associations are doing, on their lakes and that type of thing. We've got, it's a major issue in the state and here in the county, so we're trying to do some of those types of things to make things better for the future. And
then we've got some improvements at Galecki Park, and I know of some others as well. We did some renewable energy projects at Jordan, and we've got maybe a minute or so, and then anyway, what else would you like to share with everybody about what are you proudest of in Portage County Parks?
Just probably the diversity of the areas that we have, the quality of the areas that we have. It's not anything that's been developed, in the last 19 years since I've been here. It's just, we've had these types of areas, and it's to see people come in and use them, and make the comments that they do. And the best comment probably that we get is like when the campers are at Lake Emily, they'll say it's a state park and stuff like that, and we say no, it's only a county park. So, but that's, it's a favorite area to go.
There's no only in my book. I'll tell you that much. I really appreciate what you do and what your staff does. It truly is one of the best parts of being here in Portage County. Well, listen, Lori Rockman is our guest next month, and she'll join us to talk about Empty Bowls, a fundraiser for poverty and hunger prevention here in Portage County. So I look forward to seeing you next time. Gary, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I think we should go out bird watching right now.
Well, it's a little late now. You didn't want to go out in the spring when it was good, so fall migration will hit.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, everybody.